Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we are going to be looking at a connection you might not have thought about before.
Okay.
The link between
Oh.
autism memory and social cognition.
All right.
And we're going to be using this blog post from Cheap ABA.
Mhm.
It's called Autism and How Memory Affects Social Cognition.
Okay, cool.
And this blog post really breaks this topic down so well.
Yeah.
Now, as someone who knows a lot about autism, you're probably familiar with the
Right.
social challenges.
Yeah.
But today,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to explore a fresh perspective.
Good.
Have you ever considered how memory
Uh-huh.
might be the underlying factor
Yeah.
affecting social interaction
Right.
and communication in autism?
That's a great point. Most people think about
Yeah.
difficulties with social interaction when they hear autism,
Right.
but memory plays a much bigger role than many realize.
Yes.
Like a hidden piece of the puzzle.
a hidden piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Okay.
What does this all mean for how we understand and support
Mhm.
individuals with autism?
Well, it means that by addressing the underlying memory challenges, we can open up new pathways for improving social cognition.
Right.
Think of social cognition as the ability to successfully navigate the social world.
Mm-hmm.
It's about understanding social cues, interpreting facial expressions,
Oh, yeah.
predicting how others might react, and responding appropriately.
Gotcha.
And guess what? All of that relies heavily on memory.
Yeah.
The ability to recall past experiences, learn from them, and apply that knowledge in new situations.
So memory is like the engine driving our social interactions.
It really is.
This is blowing my mind.
And what's fascinating here is that individuals with autism
Okay.
often experience difficulties with both implicit and explicit memory.
Okay, quick reminder.
Okay.
Implicit memory governs those automatic,
Right.
habitual actions.
Mm-hmm.
And explicit memory involves consciously recalling
Yes.
facts and events.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's start with implicit memory.
Okay.
Imagine struggling with everyday motor skills,
Uh-huh.
like tying your shoes or riding a bike,
Why?
or having difficulty adapting to changes in routines.
Right.
Something as simple as a different route to school
Yeah.
could cause significant distress.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of challenges that can stem from
Oh.
implicit memory issues.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And those things can have such a huge impact on
That's
someone's life.
These implicit memory issues can make seemingly simple tasks,
Yeah.
like joining a group activity, feel overwhelming,
Right.
leading to avoidance and social isolation.
Right.
And then on the flip side, you have explicit memory.
Mm-hmm.
Think about trying to learn new information in a classroom setting,
Yeah.
remembering appointments or understanding social norms
Yeah.
that aren't explicitly stated.
Yeah.
Difficulties in this area can make social interactions
Isn't it?
incredibly challenging.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle without all the pieces.
Right.
And to make things even more complex,
Right.
there are different memory systems
Yeah.
at play here. Can we delve a bit deeper
Absolutely.
into those and how they directly impact social cognition?
One of the most important systems for social understanding
Huh?
is episodic memory,
Ah,
the ability to recall specific events and experiences.
Huh?
Episodic memory is like a mental scrapbook of social experiences.
okay.
Without it, individuals with autism may have difficulty piecing together those
Like-
social stories.
I'm starting to see how this all connects.
Yeah.
So if someone has trouble with episodic memory, it could lead to misunderstandings and misinterpretations
Yeah,
in social situations.
precisely.
Yeah.
Imagine you're at a party
Okay.
and someone greets you warmly,
Okay.
but because of episodic memory difficulties, you can't recall where you met them before.
Right.
This can lead to awkwardness and missed social cues.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it can also make it harder to develop empathy.
Right.
Because they might not be able to fully grasp
Yeah,
the emotional nuances of another person's experience.
exactly. And it's not just episodic memory that plays a crucial role here.
Okay.
Working memory, which allows us to hold and process information in the moment,
Right.
is equally crucial for social cognition.
Okay.
But we'll dive into that more after a quick break.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
We'll be right back. Okay, so before the break, we were talking about episodic memory,
Right.
that mental scrapbook of social experiences.
Yeah.
Now we're diving into working memory. Can you remind us how that fits into the puzzle?
Working memory is that mental workspace we use
Okay.
to hold and process information in real time.
Oh,
Imagine trying to follow a multi-person conversation
right.
where ideas are bouncing back and forth,
Yeah.
or trying to decipher complex social rules that aren't explicitly stated.
Right.
If you have difficulty holding on to and juggling those pieces of information,
Yeah.
it can lead to feeling overwhelmed and confused in social situations.
It's like trying to keep too many balls in the air at once.
Right.
You're bound to drop a few.
Yeah.
And for someone with autism who may already be experiencing sensory overload,
Mm-hmm.
these working memory challenges can amplify those difficulties,
Right.
making it even harder to navigate social situations successfully.
Absolutely.
Knowing all of this, I'm really curious about what practical steps we can take
Yeah,
to support better social cognition.
absolutely. There are several practical approaches that can be incredibly helpful.
Okay.
What's encouraging is that we don't have to just accept these challenges as insurmountable.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
So what are some of the key strategies that we can use
Mm-hmm.
to support individuals with autism?
One of the most effective approaches is to directly target those memory systems
Right.
we've been discussing.
Right.
We call these memory-based interventions.
Okay.
For example, for explicit memory, we can use visual aids, like
Oh.
pictures or diagrams, to help make information more concrete and memorable.
Okay.
Repetition and practice are also key. Take flashcards or social stories that reinforce key concepts.
So going right to the source,
Yeah.
I can see how those would be helpful. What about implicit memory?
Mm-hmm.
How do you work with something that's more automatic and unconscious?
That's where incorporating movement and routine comes in.
Okay.
Think about structured activities like dance yoga or martial arts.
Uh-huh.
These can help strengthen those motor skills and procedural learning pathways.
Okay.
And of course, consistent routines and predictable environments can help reduce anxiety and create a sense of safety, which can free up mental energy for focusing on social interaction.
It's like building muscle memory,
Yeah,
but for social interaction.
exactly.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
Now, what about directly teaching social skills?
Mhm.
Where does that fit in?
Social skills training is another essential component of support.
Okay.
We can teach specific strategies to compensate for memory difficulties.
Okay.
For example, using visual reminders like checklists or schedules,
Right.
breaking down complex tasks into smaller steps, and even practicing social scripts for common situations.
Those are all really practical tools. I imagine they can make a huge difference
Absolutely.
in helping individuals feel more confident and prepared for social situations.
And it's not just about teaching specific skills. It's
Yeah.
about fostering self-awareness and encouraging the use of those compensatory strategies
Right.
in real-world settings.
Right. So it's about empowering individuals to take ownership
Exactly.
of their own social development. What are some other approaches that can be helpful?
Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, can be incredibly valuable.
Okay.
It helps individuals identify and challenge those negative thought patterns that might be holding them back socially.
Right.
CBT provides tools for managing anxiety, developing more adaptive coping mechanisms, and building self-confidence.
Like those anxious thoughts that can spiral out of control in social situations?
Exactly.
Take a moment to let that sink in.
Yeah.
It's pretty profound when you think about it.
And the blog post also mentions some specific resources
Okay.
that listeners might find useful. They highlighted some great organizations like Autism Speaks and the Autism Society.
Right.
These are fantastic sources of information support and connection for individuals with autism and their families.
Okay.
If you're interested in exploring memory-based interventions,
Yeah.
Autism Speaks has a great section on their website
Okay.
dedicated to visual support and structured teaching strategies.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It really reframes how we think about autism
Yeah,
and highlights the importance of addressing those underlying memory challenges.
absolutely.
So let's recap what we've learned so far.
Okay.
Memory plays a fundamental role in social cognition.
Mm-hmm.
And by understanding the specific memory challenges
Right.
faced by autistic individuals, we can provide more effective support.
Precisely. And it's important to remember that autism is a spectrum.
Right.
The way these challenges manifest can vary widely from person to person. What works for one individual might not work for another.
Right.
So individualized support is crucial.
And that's where those resources come in.
Right.
They can help connect people with the specific interventions and therapies
Exactly.
that best meet their needs.
Mhm.
This isn't just about supporting individuals with autism.
Right.
It's about creating a world where everyone feels seen, understood, and valued
Absolutely.
for their unique strengths and challenges.
This is all about providing individuals with the tools and support they need
Yeah.
to thrive socially and reach their full potential.
It's amazing to think about how something like memory, which we often take for granted, can have such a profound impact on social interaction. It really challenges us to rethink our assumptions about autism and approach social situations with more empathy and understanding.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, if we kind of connect this back to the bigger picture,
Hmm.
it's about creating a more inclusive and understanding society.
Right.
By raising awareness of this connection between memory and social skills in autism, we can foster more effective support systems
Mm.
and challenge those misconceptions that often lead to stigma and isolation.
So, knowledge is power. The more we understand about the complexities of autism, the better equipped we are to create communities that celebrate neurodiversity. This has been such a fantastic deep dive. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on autism and the critical role that memory plays in social interaction.
Yeah, it's been great exploring this with you. And I hope our listening to this feel empowered to continue learning and advocating for a more inclusive world.
So, as we wrap up this exploration of autism, memory, and social cognition, what's one key takeaway that you hope our listener will walk away with?
I think the most important thing to remember is that social cognition is not simply a matter of lack of effort or poor social skills.
Right.
It's deeply intertwined with memory and other cognitive processes that can
Mhm.
be significantly impacted by autism.
So, instead of judging or making assumptions, we need to approach social interactions with empathy and understanding. And remember, there are so many resources available to help individuals with autism and their families. Be sure to check out Autism Speaks and the Autism Society for more information and support.
Absolutely. There's a wealth of information and support available, and connecting with others can be incredibly empowering.
So as we leave you with this newfound knowledge, we want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay?
How can we as individuals and as a society raise awareness of this connection between memory and social skills in autism to promote better understanding and create more inclusive communities? We encourage you to reflect on this question and take action in your own way.
Great question for everyone to think about.
Yeah. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those amazing brains of yours engaged.
See you in the next deep dive adventure.
Bye, everybody.